Amen. Assalam. Share it, like it, tweet it. Hashtag Johnny's Bite. Tell somebody about it. Inform somebody that we're back to prick the conscience of the nation one more time. We are back to raise the critical issues. And forgive me, my voice is a bit coarse this morning. Forgive me. This morning, I come to you, Mr. President, with a message, and I say, Mr. President, listen to the masses. Mr. President, listen to the masses. You have listened to your people for far too long. Perhaps you are not listening to the masses. And I will demonstrate to you why it appears you are not listening to the masses. And the masses are calling out to you, but it appears you are not listening to them. So, Mr. President, this morning, listen to the masses. You say you are the leader of a listening government. The people are calling on you. Listen to the masses. Mr. President, good morning. Are you aware that petrol prices have gone up again? Are you aware that petrol has broken the 7 and is inching towards the 8? Are you aware, sir? Are you aware that because of that, drivers are also contemplating whether or not they want to go and increase their prices? Are you aware, Mr. President? Mr. President, listen to the masses. Listen to the masses, because it is the masses who voted for you. It's the masses who have given you the power. According to the preamble of the 1992 Constitution, it says power emanates from the people. So, Mr. President, listen to the masses. Forget about your praise and worship singers. We know most of them are looking for appointments. Some are looking for it for their godsons and goddaughters. Some are looking for appointments for themselves, even though they have gone past the ages of retirement. Some are looking for it for their children. But, Mr. President, listen to the masses. Now, let's begin from the quarters of the Ghana Meteorological Agency. I saw a statement that they had written. Oliver, put up that letter for me quickly. I saw that letter that they had written, a statement from the Ghana Meteorological Agency. And my heart bled. Oliver, you have to work quickly, oh. For look sharp. This is it. The Ghana Meteorological Agency, 14 January 2022. It says, all NAPCO personnel. This is the letter. It says, we refer to the letter dated 15 November 2021 on the above-mentioned subject from the Nation Builders Corps Secretariat, directing all NAPCO personnel to remain at post pending further directives following the successful completion of the 3-year training and work program. Share the hashtag Johnny's Bite. As part of the agency's strategic plan to augment the staff strength, GMET took proactive steps to appeal to the government through the Ministry of Communication and Digitalization to the Ministry of Finance to grant the agency special dispensation to maintain personnel who have just completed the NAPCO training program. Reports reaching management from the regional district and regional district officers indicate that some of the NAPCO personnel have not returned to post. Of course, why would they return to post? Why would they return to post when you have decided not to pay them? Can you blow a trumpet on an empty stomach? You have not paid them. They are calling on you. 4 months, empty stomach. They have trust issues. Promise and fail. We will give you permanent jobs. It is not happening. So they are asking questions. Now they are staying at home. Now listen to the other paragraph. Funny. Management wishes to state that priority will be given to NAPCO personnel who remain at post when the opportunity for permanent employment is given. Those who did not remain at post will not be considered. The NAPCO folks have said it themselves that when opportunities come in, those of them who have remained at post, even on empty stomach with all the delayed allowances and everything else, they don't get considered. They said it themselves. We didn't manufacture it for them. Heal Ghana, Revenue Ghana, Educate Ghana, Feed Ghana, Digitalize Ghana. They said it themselves. That they will be sitting there. They have done 3 years of NAPCO. Opportunities come, and then they bring people from elsewhere to come and take over. They said it. We didn't say it. So now they are staying at home because they would need transport, money, ega, shika, sika, to pick trotro, to go to work, and to pick trotro to return from work. When they go, they will have to find something to eat, water to drink. They will have to pay their rent, electricity, water. They will have to deal with all those matters. They have to feed. Their families will be counting on them. So when they don't have the famiko, they won't come to work. It's commonsensical. They won't come to work because even if they were borrowing to come to work, for 4 months getting on to 5 months, they have not seen money. And there's no assurance. You ask them to stay on. Stay on and do what? Stay on and be paid what? Stay on for what purpose? You promise them permanency. Dr. Anyas came to our studio and said that 2 weeks after that interview, they were going to be paid. It's been 3 months. 3 since he came here. Now listen to the last paragraph. This letter is therefore intended to serve notice to the NAPCO personnel who are not at post and are not engaged elsewhere to reconsider their decision and report to work by 1st February 2022. So between then, the 14th January and 1st February, it's okay for them to stay at home. Is that what you're saying? They should reconsider their decision. They are not engaged. You are not thinking about how they will get money to come to work, to support your work. Now, open the folder for me, Oliver. You are not considering all of that. I tell you something. Open this one for me. This was the 2020 budget. Let's go to it. This was the 2020 budget. Nation Builder Score. Now, it says across the 7 modules of the scheme, Educate Ghana, Heal Ghana, blah, 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 blah. 130, listen, the last but 3 bullet. 130 trainees to provide support for the Ghana Meteorological Agency. 130. You pick 130 young people, and this is a distribution list. 130 young people, and we decide to starve them. We decide that we will not pay them. For whatever reason, we will not explain to them why we are not paying them. And nobody is talking to them, and they are just hanging. Young people. So they have trust issues, first of all. They have trust issues. Open the folder for me. Now, Mr. President, are you also aware, good morning, that notice has been served for strike? Open this, Oliver. Oliver, look sharp, look sharp. Are you aware that notice has been served for strike? Civil and Local Government Staff Association of Ghana, CLOGSAC. We know the role they play. They said notice to embark on nationwide strike from 20th January, Thursday. This is to confirm the NEC decision that from 20th January 2020, the Civil and Local Government Association, CLOGSAC, would embark on nationwide strike to press home their demand for better conditions of service. This is adding on to TEU, it's adding on to UTAG, it's adding on to the teacher training college people, and it's adding on to everybody who is contemplating strike. Now, they have told their people, CLOGSAC members in the ministries, departments, and agencies, as well as the Metropolitan, Municipal, and District Chief Assemblies, are informed to stay at home from Thursday, 20th January 2022, until further notice. Sorry about that. Forgive me. They have served notice for strike, Mr. President. Listen to the masses, Bosu. It is the masses that you appeal to. It's the masses that voted for you. The people around you may likely not tell you what the situation is. So please, listen to the masses. Now, I'm sure you're also aware of this particular situation. Ghana's debt dips deeper into distress as investors quit. This is Bloomberg. You know the interesting thing? Now the finance ministry is explaining to us, it's okay when you go and write an exam and you are told that you have failed. It's okay to go and ask for remarking. It's normal. You can always go and ask for remarking. So the finance ministry is giving us reasons why they have not failed the exam that Bloomberg and Fitch say they have failed. Because Fitch is one of the top 3, or if you like, one of 3 across the globe that does ratings. They say we have gotten a B-. It's negative. Now, this is a ticking time bomb. Ghana debt dips deeper into distress as investors quit. Sovereign spread about 1,000 points higher since April 2020. Dollar bonds have worst start to 2022 among emerging markets. This is it. This is it. Now, this is the Fitch rating. It says Fitch downgrades Ghana to B negative. Outlook negative, B minus. 14th January. 14th January. Now, when you look at all of these things, you start asking your questions. Did we not see this coming? Again, I'll take you to the 2020 budget. Open the folder for me. I'll take you to the 2020 budget. Professor Peter Quartey of ISE, he had a warning to give in 2020. When the budget was read, Oliver, open this for me. When the budget was read, he had warning to give. He says developments in public debts. As at end September 2019, the nominal public debt stock was 208.56 billion. That's 60.55% of the GDP, comprising external domestic debt of 107.16 billion and 101.440 billion, respectively. The rate of debt accumulation as at end September 2019 was 20.51% and 14.33%, excluding the financial sector bailout. We note that this penchant to resort to external borrowing poses a macroeconomic risk as the debt burden continues to escalate. Continuing currency depreciation could lead to a rapid increase in the value of foreign currency dominated debt and its concomitant interest payments beyond sustainable levels. The simple policy conclusion is that if Ghana wishes to grow faster, it must first mobilize more domestic revenue and put an ice on its appetite for borrowing. This was a warning that was given to us after we read the budget in 2019 for 2020. Did we heed to it? No. I'll demonstrate it shortly. Now, if the balance of payments, equilibrium growth rate can be raised by making exports more attractive and by reducing the income elasticity of demand for imports, demand can be expanded without producing balance of payment difficulties. Most importantly, Ghana must start to curb the relentless rise of debt. Did we listen? No. Further, we agree that it is not, we argue, that it is not just the size of the debt that matters. This is very important. But what kind of spending we do with the borrowed money, I'll explain to you shortly. We should also, or rather be asking about the cost and benefit of government expenditures on different items at different times. Resource misallocation and inefficiencies in government spending are significant sources of distortions in the Ghanaian economy. Professor Peter Quartey, he warned us. Open the folder for me. He warned us. We didn't listen. He warned us. Now we read the budget. This is the 2020 budget. Expand it for me. The 2020 budget was known as the Ejuma budget. It says that the budget known as the Ejuma budget, the theme for it was consolidating the gains for growth, jobs and prosperity for all. Brilliant idea. Ejuma budget. Now, in the budget, which was read on the 30th of November 2019 for 2020 by our finance minister, it had a brilliant idea. It says, for example, not this one. It says, for example, there's one thing that Mr. Oforiatta said, which was also a very brilliant idea. Now, this is it. It says government's medium-term vision and objectives. It was in the 2020 budget. It says the vision, paragraph 388, the vision has 4 main development goals, namely creating opportunities for all Ghanaians, safeguarding the natural environment and ensuring a resilient built environment, maintaining a stable, united and safe society, and building a prosperous society. 399, it says Mr. Speaker, to achieve the vision and the 4 main development goals, the medium-term priority policies, programs, and projects are anchored on 5 thematic areas and 5 strategic pillars. The thematic areas are economic development, social development, environment, infrastructure, human settlements, governance, corruption, and public accountability, and strengthening government's role in internal affairs. Note governance, corruption, public accountability. Note them. Now, let's go back to Mr. Professor Peter Korte. He's sounding the warning bells again. Listen to him.
We cannot continue to borrow from the international capital markets, given that we have hit the threshold, and even if we have to, we are very much limited. So if we do, we will pay at a very high cost, and therefore they need to look inward. Inward in the sense that we can raise money from the domestic market, as well as raise more domestic revenue through tax and non-tax measures, through property rates, state-owned enterprises, and many other areas where we have not been very efficient in raising revenue. This is not a time to raise or increase the tax rates or introduce new taxes.
That's Professor Peter Korte again of the East, sounding warning bells. Now he says we should not go external. He told us that in 2019 for 2020. We did not listen. This is a breakdown of how much we have borrowed. As of 2019, when Professor Peter Korte warned, we had borrowed 280, and thanks to CTTV for this. In 2020, we listened based on what Mr. Ofriata told us and what I just read to you. We went ahead from 218 million to 291 million in 2020. We said we were going to change. Now in 2021, we jumped from 291 to 348 million. 348 million. What's happening? 348 million. And then in 2022, the projection is that we may go to 368. Let's catch CCTV. Now, Oliver, stop this. Close this thing. Now, this is it. Ticking time bomb. As CCTV has captured it. Now, we go back to the earlier days before Vice President Bawumia came into power. He said something very, very important that I want to bring to your attention this morning. Bright Simons had something that he put up that now we are contemplating whether it is 70-something or 80-something, and that's what we are fighting. I say it's okay. If you write an exam and you don't get it, you can always go for a remark. And I like the reasons the finance minister has put forward. Let the economists look at it. But this is Vice President Bawumia. Bright Simon, open this for me. This is it. It says the government of Ghana is quarreling with international analysts over whether the country's debt to GDP ratio is headed for 78% or 83%. But I thought our VIP resolved this matter 7 years ago. Has it crossed the critical 60% of GDP level? This was Vice President Bawumia then, before he came into power. Now, let's open that story for me. The Vice President said when you cross the 60% mark, you are in trouble. So now there's no debate that we have gone beyond 60% mark. But you see, Professor Korte, what I read for you, says it is not about the borrowing. It is about what the borrowing is used for and how critical we are of the spending and what people think. I've already told you that we are being told to sacrifice. We are being told to sacrifice. Now, where does the sacrifice come in? Listen, it said, Dr. Bawumia said the most significant reason Ghana resorted to the International Monetary Fund for a bailout is because of unsustained borrowing and debt stock. According to Dr. Bawumia, however, at 67% of GDP, Ghana's debt stock has crossed the critical 60% of GDP level, and that developing countries with limited access to capital flows should worry about its terms of debt sustainability. He said it himself. And it says, well, MPP vice presidential candidate has stated that Ghana is no longer described as highly indebted poor country. Rather, we are now a highly indebted middle income, country because of the NDC's. I don't like this. Today, my screen is not dealing well with me at all. Because of the NDC's reckless incompetence, sanctioned corruption. This is what the vice president said back then as a candidate. Now, The key question people will be asking, open the folder for me. Key question people will be asking is this, and I'll show you something that was presented to Parliament. The spending from the office of the president. Spending from the office of the president, because you know, part of the parliamentary process for approving the budget is that you would have to present what you have spent or consumed over time or in the previous year to give you the impetus to come to them for approval. This was presented to Parliament, and this is only for January to September 2021. So October, November, December has not come. I don't have those figures. Now, January to September 2021 expenditure returns, breakdown of general administration goods and services using the approved budget by charts of account. Take a look at the details. Printed material and stationery, office facilities, supply and accessories, refreshment items, other office materials and consumables, contract cleaning service charges, maintenance and repair official vehicles, seminars, conferences, workshop, domestic. That's it. 21 million. Sorry about that. Now, let's go to the office facilities, supplies and accessories. Seminars, conferences, workshop, foreign. Official celebrations. Then there's operational enhancement expenses. 148 million. Operational enhancement expenses. It does appear the government likes a lot of enhancement, media capacity enhancement, enhanced contact tracing. Now there's operational enhancement expenses, 148 million. I don't know what the breakdown is. But when people like UTAG, TEU and all the rest are asking for better conditions of service, CLOSAC has just said notice that they'll go on strike on Thursday. When they see some of these spendings, they start asking questions that you are asking us to sacrifice. What are you sacrificing? You are asking us to sacrifice. What are you sacrificing? This is an official document presented to Parliament. I didn't manufacture it. Official document presented to Parliament. I didn't manufacture it. So when we are being asked to sacrifice, we are being told that our economy is in dire straits. The finance ministry disagrees with it. It disagrees with the rating of Fitch and Moody's and all of those ones. Question is, would the finance ministry have disagreed with the ratings if we have been told that, oh, we are doing very fine? Because last year we were rated 2. No be so. We give the B. Did we disagree with it? Or because it was in a good light, so we agreed. But once it enters a bad light, we don't agree. Is that the situation? Now, I'll show you something. Open the folder for me. Maybe last 2 and then we'll go. Oliver, please open the folder for me quickly. Now, this one. Open this for me. I read for you what Mr. Kenoforiata and if you like the government's intention was for the 2020 fiscal year. We said we're going to stamp corruption and we're going to be accountable and we're going to ensure that there's good governance. That's what we said. This is the Auditor General's report on corruption from 2016 to 2020, a comparative analysis of irregularities, the figures rounded to the nearest CD. Listen to it. This is 2016. Outstanding debtors, loans, recoverable charges. That's what we did in 2016. In 2017, we moved on. 2018, we moved on. 2019, we moved on. 2020, we moved on. So we lost all of this money to outstanding debtors, loans, recoverable charges. Then there's cash irregularities. If we have, for example, the gift me system and a rigid system that's supposed to prevent us from losing cash, why do we have cash irregularities? Then we have payroll irregularities, ghost names. We have done biometric for SNIT. We have done biometric for NHIS. We have done biometric for NIA. We have done biometric for everybody. Now we are even doing biometric for our SIMs, and we have to queue unnecessarily for it. But we still have payroll irregularities, ghost names. Now, look at the figures. They keep jumping up. They keep jumping up. In 2020, it was the highest. Procurement irregularities. You have the full procurement authority. We have the full procurement ministry. We have the laws. We have the people. But this is what we have: tax irregularities, stores irregularities, contract irregularities. Now look at how much we lost. How much we lost in 2020 alone: 12 billion, 856 million, 172,626. That is how much we lost to corruption alone. And I've given you the breakdown. This is not, I didn't generate it. This is the Auditor General's own report. The Auditor General's own report. 12 billion. So now, when you tell me to sacrifice, and you are supervising, whether you're a civil servant, a government appointee, whatever you are supervising such losses, and nobody gets punished for it really. And we all watch on and can only report it. And we actually tell people at the Public Accounts Committee, go and sin no more. How are you motivating me to be biting the bullet? And then you tell me that, oh, e-levy is a sacrifice that we have to make. That's what Mr. Kandapat told us. A lot of more people have told us. How much, for example, are we going to raise from the e-levy? That's about half of this. 12 billion in 1 year. The year before that, 5 billion. The year before that, 3 billion. The year before that, 12 billion. The year before that, 718 million. So you see that we just don't actually care. But there's power in numbers. And that's why I've been asking you to speak up. You have to speak up because you may not be qualified to tell the president how to govern. But you are so qualified because you pay taxes and you live in Ghana, because you're a true Ghanaian, a citizen and not a spectator, to be able to tell the president that the way you are governing, Mr. President, listen to the masses because it is impacting me. Because it is impacting me. Now, this is my final picture. Open the folder for me. My last picture for the day. Open the folder for me. This is my final picture for this morning. There's power in numbers. Project the picture. If the people stand, the game is over. See, these are aristocrats and the honorable and all those people playing a board game. It could be Monopoly, it could be chess, it could be anything. And check, what they have under it is not the table. They are human beings, you and I, who are down below under the board game they are playing. Down below. They say, Okwasienitia, na agroegu. Shatawale has a song. It says, Kesande ba, ni mokomoko nye aye ayo. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. Mr. President, listen to the masses. Good morning.